friend. I had a piece of my video missing. I apologize for the delay in getting this video posted with the other potato videos, but I didn't have any potatoes in my house to recreate it, so I had to go and buy some, and I just kept forgetting them at the store. But I went and grabbed a few russet potatoes, and the part that is missing is where I actually shredded them and got them boiled and stuff. So we're just going to recreate that really quick. I did decide with my potatoes, I shred some on this, and I found that it wasn't quite thick enough for my liking, so I am actually going to use this device. I don't sell this. I don't know if I even know anybody that sells it anymore. This is from Pampered Chef. But however you want to make your hash brown, according to the thickness that you want, is how you should shred it. If you've got mad knife skills, you could probably dice them, and I will show, or not dice them, shred them, and I will show you how and why in just a second. But I picked these potatoes up at the store, so we could just do this. So I'm going to put them in my machine. These potatoes have been scrubbed really well. I do like to leave my skins on. You can peel yours if you do not want yours to have the skins. And I do have to peel some of this off. Some of this they're green in some spots. And that totally bums me out because I really do like the skins on them, but that's okay. So I am going to cut some of this off. I could just peel it, and I think that's enough on that one. So there's always the big controversy about, does the green make the potatoes poisonous? No. But the green, if you eat enough of it, if you consume a little bit of it, you'll be just fine. If you eat enough of it, it will give you some stomach problems, probably. You'll spend some time in the bathroom. If you eat too much of it, it will make you sick. But I'll just get those peeled off for a second. So this is the device that I have. So this is how I'm going to shred my potatoes. And I do not use this that often, so sometimes it takes me a minute to get reacclimated with it. But I just drop my potato in, and I'm going to figure out which way I want to orient it because I'm not sure. So then I just now these come out like this, so they're more julienne, maybe would be a good term for it, rather than shredded hash browns. I'm going to dial it down just a little bit to make it a little thinner. But I do like hash browns, but I like there to be some potato there for it. So the next step, once you get your hash browns, your potatoes, into the thickness and likings of yours, what I do with mine is I soak them in water. I will soak them in some really cold water for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I'll rinse it. I'll soak them again for 10 minutes or so, and then I'll rinse it. This is total preference in doing this. I just want to get some of that starch off of the potatoes. So you can even just put them in a big strainer and just sift through them and just rinse them really, really good even one time. And you don't have to rinse them at all. Total preference. So once I do this, I get a pot of water on the stove and get it boiling up. I drop my potatoes in there for 2 minutes. I bring it back up to a boil and then start the 2-minute timer. The 2-minute timer, what that's going to do is blanch them, and what it keeps it from doing is turning black. If you skip that step, although slightly a pain, but not really, you can keep your potatoes looking appetizing. When I dehydrated mine, you'll see in the video, I had some that probably didn't get all under the water or something like that, so there were some little black pieces. I just pitched them. They're totally edible. They are not bad if they turn that dark color. It does not mean they're spoiled. It does not mean they're rotten, although it looks that way. So I like to rinse mine twice, bring a pot of water up to a rolling boil. I put my potatoes in, and I do it in small batches. Bring it back up to a boil for 2 minutes. Once they're done, I get them out into a strainer and into an ice bath or really, really cold water. And my water is so cold that I just bring them to the sink, rinse them off really well with the cold water, and that cools them enough to be good. And then I get them onto my trays and into my dehydrator. Keep your trays thin. Don't pile them up too much, because these are wetter than most things that you kind of put in the dehydrator, and they stick. I did find that some spots in my dehydrator, I could not get them to dry out, because so the trays that dried out that I had thinner, I was able to move some of those wetter potatoes to that spot and then let it finish drying out. Okay, so we are on the last thing to get packaged up for this What Am I Doing with All These Potatoes series. This is the dehydrator. These are the hash browns, and I end up putting some diced potatoes in here as well, just to see how I liked rehydrating them. And these actually went, I can't remember what I said, but I think I said the wrong temperature. I set these at 125 and let them go for like 8 hours. I ended up raising it to 135. This dehydrator is new to me, so to find the right setting is a little bit of a learning curve. And so I kept resetting it and just coming back. I rotated trays several times and reset it, and now I am going to just dump them onto a piece of paper. I just got a giant sheet of paper because these make a mess. You can see they're already falling out from underneath, and that way I can lift it and dump it into my funnel. So I'm probably going to do just a couple of trays at each time, and I'm just going to, these are all dry and crunchy. And these thinned out a lot. I don't know as though I would want them any thinner, because I thought they were pretty thick when I was cutting them, and I thought, ooh, that's not going to work out well for a hash brown. But actually, when I've dehydrated them and then when I rehydrate them, this is actually going to be the thickness that I want. So I'm really happy that I didn't go any thinner with these. So what I'm going to do, put these on this, and then bring my bottle. I have a large mouth, this is a half-gallon jar. And I am going to break them a little bit as I push them in, but it'll be fine. You don't want to smash them too much, because you don't want to end up with just a bunch of tiny pieces. You still want that hash brown feeling. When I was doing this, my husband came home from work and he's like, "Are you baking bread?" For some reason, this had a sense of a bread yeast smell. And to me, it smelled really sweet, like candy. It was kind of comical. But we knew it was just this, but it was interesting. And these are coming off here just fine. Like I said, you want to try not to mash them too much. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with a powder of potatoes. Now the ones that had the liners on them, they took a lot longer. As other trays started, as I was rotating them, as they started drying out, I took and created some room. I took a lot off of these linered ones because they took a lot longer. But I'm glad I had the liners on some of them because these were falling through and making a mess. The ones with the liners on them make it easy because you can just pick those up. And pour them in. But in doing that, like I said, it does take longer and you have to make the layers thinner so you're not going to get as much in your dehydrator. So advantages and disadvantages. And like I said, I don't want to smash these down in here because I don't want to turn them into powder. But that was 3 trays, so I'm thinking I'm going to get 4 trays per jar. And if I don't get them edited out, I am picking out a few little pieces that are really dark. There's nothing wrong with them. They just look less appetizing. So I am just pulling them out right now. But you can totally leave them in. It's not going to hurt anything. And actually, my husband and I won't even really care. You can, I don't know if you can see that or not. It's just really dark. Alright friends, so there is 1 container. I'm going to end up with 2 of these, which makes me really happy. And I will just dump them out. I rehydrate them in some hot water for like 10 to 12 minutes and then throw them in a pan and fry them up. When I rehydrate them, I put them in a bowl and I put barely enough hot water to cover them, and then I just set something over it, whether it be another little lid or a plate or something, just to let them hydrate up. So I am so happy to have these hash browns on my shelf because they really do make a really easy breakfast in the morning. That is the end of this video. This was dehydrating hash browns. I will link my other videos down below depending upon how they come out in what order. There's several in this series. I'll create a playlist, just what do I do with my potatoes, and then you'll be able to watch all the videos if you get a good deal on potatoes. Thank you, friend. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for spending time with me over the last few days as we did this potato series, and I hope you have an amazing day.